Hi, in this lesson, we're learning about tech stacks for online course teachers. So that way you could be smarter, save money, do more with all your technology components, and handle changes for the future. Hi, I'm Angel from RT Course Experts, and we help creative online course teachers with their tech. In this lesson, we're going to learn about tech stacks. What is it? Why use them? How to use them? We're going to go over an example, then we'll summarize our top tips. First of all, what is a tech stack? Well, a tech stack is a set of technologies that work together to create a platform so that you can achieve your business goals. Once you have that tech stack set up, it might cover 60, 70, 80% of what you need to do. And they've been already tested. Thousands and millions of people have used this tech stack. So you know it's supported, you know it works, and it's a great solid foundation for you to build your company on. And then you add on a few extra little pieces, but at least your foundation is solid. Now, why would you use it? Well, picking a tech stack can help you manage complexity, cost, features, reliability, and even your staffing, like the skills that your team is going to need. So using a tech stack helps you get a jump start on all the core pieces that you might need for your business. Instead of you connecting dozens of little things that may or may not work together, they might be complex. You got to set up each individual one. With one tech stack, you get a bunch of components. They cover so many of your use cases, and they've been built or configured to work together. Potentially, it's cheaper. Instead of buying a bunch of different the features that come usually get you pretty far along, so that you're just adding all the little extras that may not have come with the tech stack, but it covers main use cases that you need for your business. And then it's reliable. When you get a tech stack, you know that all these inner components are all working together and they're not delicate. So that's awesome. And finally, from a staffing skills point of view, the tech stack covers so much for you that you may not have to worry about all these inner details. You can just focus on your implementation. Or maybe there's a vendor and they take care of all the details for you, databases and files and connections and firewalls. That's all part of the services that you get with your tech stack. So now let's go into a how-to guide for tech stacks. So first of all, let's go over some of the common tech stacks. So what are these tech stacks? What are these collections of technologies that can give businesses a head start? So if you're building some custom software or you're trying to save money, you may use an established combination. This is like a tech stack that's very well known for technology developers or IT system administrators. So these tech stacks are well-known combinations. These established combinations may include things like operating systems, databases, web servers, even programming languages. An example is, hey, I'm going to use Unix, or I'm going to use Windows, or I'm going to use these certain programming languages. And when you do that, there's this collection, this ecosystem that are known to work together. Open source organizations put these combinations together. They use them in lots of places. They've worked out all the kinks so that they know that they work together. Another tech stack option is to use a platform. So as an example, a platform will leverage a vendor. So as an example, Microsoft. So you'll use all the different Microsoft pieces, and they have bundles, and they know that these pieces all work together. Some of the platform vendors include Microsoft or Google or Amazon. So they have these collection of components that all work together to provide all the core pieces that you need. And that platform is a tech stack. When you use the Microsoft, not only are you getting databases and servers, but also all the way up to Microsoft Teams. And if you're using Google, you get all the Google Docs. So the platform is end to end, all the way from the hardware, the plumbing, the metal, all the way up to the tools and the user experiences that your team is going to use, and including your customers. Another tech stack angle is to use an industry vendor. So maybe there's somebody who knows exactly what you're trying to do for your customers, And so they've provided all the tools, and it's a much higher level. So as an example, maybe you're using all the online training tools from Padia. So that means Padia has all these tools, website builders, community, digital downloads. So you're all in on Padia. You don't have to worry about databases and servers and file sharing. You're just using their higher end tools to create everything that you need, and then you build on top of that. So again, for all of these tech stacks, what you're really getting is a solid foundation that hopefully gets you to 80 or 90% of what you need. And maybe you'll supplement with a few extra add-ons, like maybe you add in a webinar tool or Zoom. But basically everything else is part of that core platform. And that's the beauty of a tech stack. You know that it all works underneath, and all those core components do what you need, and they're all working together nicely, and you don't have to open up the hood and look at every single component in your engine. So when you're picking out a tech stack or you're figuring out, which combinations to use, here are a couple of things that you should be thinking about. First of all, features. What are the current features that your tech stack provides or that you need? And then what are the future features that you're going to need? So maybe today you're doing coaching and you might have also some courses, but in the future you want to have a community, or in the future you want to do more cohorts with one-on-one training in small groups that are going to be recorded on Zoom. So you're thinking about what are your current features, current services that you need, and future services. Are they provided by these different tech stack options? And then for the future, you're also thinking about integrations. So if you did need to add on one thing, is it painful? Are they going to play nicely together? Or do you have to do a lot of duct tape and a lot of manual work, or even a bunch of computer programming and hire consultants to connect it up? Next up is reliability. So when you have this tech stack and a couple of your add-ons, are they all going to work together, or are they barely working together? So as you add more and more features, more and more components, even as you add more students and more customers, is it going to scale, or is it going to slow down, and the hosting needs to be upgraded and the databases need to be upgraded, and now you have more video files that also, and they're on separate systems. So ideally, are they reliable? Are all your features being provided by this core tech stack in a nice way? And when you do need to grow, it naturally, organically grows because of your platform, your service providers? Or do you got to get involved and get messy and try to upgrade every component in your tech stack? You want to choose your tech stack so that it does the majority of what you're doing, and it sets you up so that when you add stuff, it's easy to add, and then they're reliable, they work, and they scale with you and your business. The next thing to think about is the cost. So for example, if your tech stack has a bunch of components, are you paying for similar services? Or do you get a bundle because maybe you use a platform like Padia or Google or something like that, and because you're getting 5, 10 different services together, you have a great discount because you've bundled. And then think about also lock-in. If you're using this 1 or 2 big vendors and maybe they're acting like monopolies, do they lock you in? Are they making it difficult for you to add in and integrate, or even leave them later? Do they want to control the data, like your customer emails and things like that? So you're going to want to think about, are they locking in? Are they a good vendor or a really good platform where I can integrate outward? Or is this really a closed box? They're not going to make it easy for me to grow or leave or integrate them with other pieces. Finally, you should be thinking about the skills that you need to set up this tech stack, maintain it, use it, or even enhance it. Do you actually have to do all the work to configure this particular tech stack, or is it a vendor, or basically it's a working box and then you just add to it? And then when things happen and maybe you need to update the database, or you need to clean out your videos or things like that, Are you able to do that, or does the vendor provide those features? And then later, as you're enhancing these different tools, maybe you want to add on another piece, or you want to take a course and add interactive quizzes to it, or you want to take your videos that are hosted on your website and put them on a video hosting platform like a Wistia or a Vimeo. So if you want to expand that, is that something that you and your team can do? Or is that something that's near impossible? So those are some of the considerations that you should be making when you're thinking about your technical components, your tech stack. What are those one or two collections of technologies that you use, and then the handful of extra add-ons that you use to supplement that tech stack. So you're thinking about features, reliability and scaling, cost, and your own team's skills of how you're going to use this tech stack, or things you don't have to worry about by using a tech stack. Now let's check out an example. So in this example, we're going to go over a couple of different tech stacks just to expand your mind. These are tech stacks that teachers or coaches might consider using, and whether they do it themselves or they get a vendor or they hire a tech team like RT Course Experts. Either way, I wanted to expand your mind so that you're thinking about these technical components as buckets of features, and over time you have your main bucket and maybe one or two extras. All right, so let's start off with the first example, and this is ultra techy, so bear with me. The first one is called LAMP Tech Stack, and it's basically an abbreviation for Linux, which is an operating system, Apache, which is a web server. The M is for SQL, MySQL, which is a database, and the P in LAMP is for PHP, which is a programming language. So some techies like to use LAMP because they get all these tools in this one deployment, and it just sort of sets them up to go build all the apps and tools that they need. So you might have a LAMP stack, and then you just add WordPress and maybe Zoom, a few other services. With that stack, you're covered by 60% of your platform, and then you add in the specific customizations that you need. So lamps are great because it's a established combination. You're going to have to add in your tools and training stuff, right? Because it's just a database. It doesn't really know about your coaching business for creatives. It might be cheap, but you got to add a bunch of add-ons because it just gets you 50, 60% of the way there. And you're going to have to really geek out. So you're going to need teams. You're going to potentially waste lots of time there, or you're going to need vendors to help you configure all this stuff. Next up is something like a Google stack. So with Google, use all your basic services. So you get servers and email and Google Drive and Google Docs, all the DNS, your website is hosted there. So you get, 60, 70% there. You have these tools for your team, but you might also have to add in a WordPress LearnDash for your server and your courses, or bbPress for your community. So you're adding on these WordPress plugins and ecosystem. So you basically have these two stacks. This Google core platform gets you about 60% there, and then you're adding in these WordPress items, gets you 80, 90% of what you need for your business, and then you might add a few extra add-ons. So that's pretty cool. That you could think of it as like two tech stacks there, but they're getting you really far along. So you're using this general platform, but it's powerful. It provides all these tools, not only for your services, but also for your team to collaborate. And then you add in your training capabilities. It's affordable. You got a few extra add-ons, but then you're going to need some technology and educational skills to set up those online courses, the communities, etc. Another route is to go and pick a vendor that knows all about training, and they take care of all those lower level things, the whole tech stack. So they're taking care of databases and files and all that stuff. So let's just say you use Kajabi. So Kajabi's got websites, Kajabi's got courses, communities, maybe an email system so you could talk to your students and send messages to your different segments. So Kajabi's got a lot of that stuff. And they hide and abstract away all the technical details. You're not dealing with servers or any of that stuff underneath. So yeah, and maybe you add one or two extra little things that you might need for Kajabi. You might add maybe Zoom as an example for Zoom webinars and for Zoom to work with your coaching students. But other than that, Kajabi gets you 95% of the way there in your coaching business. So you're using a leading vendor that knows your industry, that's specific for training. It might be expensive, and although you might not need extra add-ons, it gets you almost all there. Then you and your team, you could just focus on your content or some general purpose virtual assistant skills. You don't really need to deal with technology. At that point, you're really high up. This stack gets you really far along with all the technical stuff underneath and all the tools and services that you need for your business. And finally, somebody might want to build a custom stack. Maybe they have a large team, they have very unique needs, so they want to do the best of every vendor because they know that certain tools are better than others, and it's often hard for one vendor to be good at everything. So if you decide to use a custom stack, as an example, you might use Squarespace for your website, Thinkific for your courses, ConvertKit for your mail, Circle.so for your community, Office 365 for your emails, and maybe Zoom and webinars. So you're picking and choosing a bunch of different vendors that are all really awesome, but now you're going to have a complex integration. If you have a bundle, you're going to have to set up customers across multiple systems. It might be harder to have a coupon. So these kinds of things are going to definitely be harder, but you may have chosen your favorite community or course or digital download platform. And since you're paying for all these different vendors, you're going to be paying lots of different things. And some of these vendors might already do what something else does, but you don't want to use that part. So you may overpay in some ways. You're going to require lots of skills on your team, as well as contractors or even third parties to help you glue and connect up all these different systems. If you want to level up, one way to do this is to brainstorm and list out all your current vendors. List out each of your vendors and what the current features are. You're going to maybe draw some circles or some lines to connect up vendors that do multiple features. Then you're going to also think about your future features that you might add 1 to 5 years from now, and start there. You'll see that maybe there's some trends, some buckets that you can group some of your features, and that might simplify your business operations. So now you're a lot smarter on tech stacks. So here are the top things you need to know. A tech stack is a collection of technologies. It could be one vendor, it could be different vendors, but it's a bunch of components and they're well known to work together. Ideally, your tech stack gets you 60, 70, 80% of the way there, and then you add on some extra layers to get you 100% of everything that you need for your business. You should be thinking about features. You should be thinking about reliability and scaling, how you connect them up. Is it easy or is it painful? You're going to be thinking about cost. Are they cost savings by using a tech stack or overpaying for the same features across different vendors? And finally, thinking about your skills. How are you and your team going to set up, maintain, use, and even enhance your tech stack so you can grow into future services? To learn more, check out the info and links in the notes. If you're loving this stuff, subscribe to keep leveling up your creative business. And if you need any tech help with your courses, community, or teacher website, visit www.rtcourseexperts.com. Thanks for hanging out. Let's stay in touch.